Varun, week one and a little bit. Oh, so 2 weekends essentially of the IPL are behind us already. That's big, man. How are you feeling? What's the early reaction been? We're going to talk through top of the table, bottom of the table, all the successes, what's working, what's not. But how are you feeling? This is
I'm
your
feeling
favorite time of
great.
the year, right?
Yeah, it is. I'm feeling great. And to top it off, I was actually in Sri Lanka for a family holiday, and I just the timings are just so beautiful, man. Like I just it opened my eyes. A match starts at like 7:30. You're done by 11:15. You can watch the whole thing, get a full night's sleep. So yeah, I've come back feeling rested and rejuvenated, and having watched most of the games, which I didn't expect to.
Yeah,
So I'm feeling good.
with your time zone, being in Singapore means you're watching games till basically like 1, 2 in the morning sometimes,
Till
one
two. So
thirty
last
ish.
night I was up to. So we're recording on a Monday morning. So last night I was up till the time that MS Dhoni got out, which was pretty late in the game as we expect. And I can see I should smile because I've preempted that. And DJ's not on today, but it took us what 60 seconds to mention MS Dhoni. So
65 seconds.
that's
That's
not bad.
pretty high up for you, and
That's not
DJ's
bad.
not even here. So, but MS has been a pretty big part of the news, right? So we're going to talk about it. We're not going to go through because I think there's already been how many matches are already done? 12 ish, 11, 10, 11, right? Which is just the pace at which this IPL moves. By the way, we are 2.5, 3 weeks now from you and I getting to watch a couple of games in person together. So that'll be a fun episode to record. But yeah, it's been both consistent with previous years and not, right? I'm sitting here looking 11 matches in, and the two teams to have never lifted this trophy are 1 and 2. That's RCB and the Delhi Capitals. And five-time champions Mumbai are at the bottom, but Mumbai always starts slow. And RCB and Delhi kind of often, not last year for RCB, but kind of often give you false hope. Is that a big picture, good way of summarizing? It's way too soon to make any conclusions from this, right?
Yeah, it is. It's too soon, but look, I've taken the screenshot of RCB and Delhi as 1 and 2 because those are the teams that I'm supporting. So I've taken that screenshot. Life feels good for the moment. But to be honest, they've played good cricket, right? So it's the other teams seem to be warming up and getting into the groove, and this is just what happens, right? Like I've seen this that when you come back after a mega auction every third year, it takes teams some time. You had the Champions Trophy going on. You've got people who, the 11s are not even settled yet, right? Like just again referencing last night's game, Chennai made two changes in their third game. That does not
Hmm.
happen with Chennai. Chennai sticks to the same team. So you can very clearly tell that teams are still finding their kind of form and rhythm. And honestly, it's great that teams like Delhi and RCB have just taken the two wins because we know what's coming in store for these two teams.
I mean, listen, every year, it's the 18th season. Every year, they feel you got to give yourself hope. This is a different Delhi. It truly is the first time it looks different. Uh, RCB, yes, look, that started really strong, but RCB, I feel like I'm visualizing, will fall apart at some
I
point.
I just touching on that. I know just
Let's
I
jump
just
in.
want to talk about RCB, right? Because I think I put them in the knockouts. No,
Yeah, but are you
knockouts,
going to
right?
talk about your IPL goat, one of the guys who made your list of the greatest of all time IPL players, which DJ gives
Is
you
it
the really hard time for.
who
And of
did who
course,
did
I'm talking about
I
Krunal Pandya.
did I actually say that?
Yeah, do you remember? We have to go back and find the episode where DJ gave you such a
I
hard time
just
for picking
remember
Krunal.
saying Bumrah is a test goat. Like that's all I remember. I mean,
Yeah,
it's highly
but
unlikely that I put Bumrah and Krunal in the same sentence. But
no comment. They did used to bowl together at Mumbai, but anyway,
no, but I was just saying, just on RCB since they're the table toppers. Maybe we
yeah.
can have a new format that we start the show talking about the table toppers, right? Like,
It
um,
depends. Basically, will depend where Delhi ends up. If Delhi's at the bottom, then we'll go bottom to top. But anyway,
but what I was saying is, I think they've got Salt at the top. We've spoken about Patidar, and then I think they've
unbelievable, by the way.
yeah.
Like Rappa has found his own as a skipper. I mean, just man of the match in one of the games. Sorry, I know you
Yeah.
were going through, but man of
No,
the match in one of the games, 34 of 16 in the other. Great captaincy, by the way. I don't know how much behind the scenes Kohli's helping him, Bhovi's helping him, but either way, he gets the credit.
yeah.
Just been great. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so I feel like you got Phil Salt, you got Rajat Patidar, And then you've got Tim David, right? So to me, in your top seven, these three are key. Now, keep in mind, I'm not even mentioning Kohli and Livingston, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is these three guys at those alternate batting positions are key for me. And then the fact that you've got a Bhuvi and a Hazelwood, right? To me, that combination works well. The gap is the spinner. Okay, so what I find amazing is that they have won at Eden and Chepauk, right? That is truly, truly surprising to me. But they're doing this without a high quality Indian or overseas spinner as we know it, as other teams may have it.
I
In
mean,
fact,
their high quality spinner got player of the match in their first game.
and
I mean,
that's a good segue into kind
like,
of what, yeah,
yeah, Krunal
yeah.
Pandya,
Except
three
he
for
bowled a
29.
bouncer apparently.
I mean, listen, I had him in my fantasy team. I'm doing awful in fantasy, but sometimes these types of picks, like picking Krunal in the first game of the season, pay off. But you're right, right? On the one hand, Livingston, Suyash has been expensive. Krunal picked up three for. I don't think he did much in the second game. For them, he was not for 26. And at the same time, they've won at Chepauk and Eden. Like you take that any day of the week with weak spinners. But yeah, Varun, I made this joke with you, by the way, that Delhi versus CSK would be an amazing test match. I think I've made this joke before, right?
Yeah.
Delhi, KL, Akshar, Faf, Stark, Kuldeep, Mohit, and Mukesh. CSK, Rachin, Conway, Jadeja, of course, Dhoni, Ash, and Noor. That you could argue that with RCB on paper, right? When you said Hazelwood and Bovey, I was like, man, that's an
Yeah.
amazing test, like
It's
a consistent hit the top of off stump repeatedly type of bowling lineup, right?
Yeah, it does, and listen, we're going to talk about Stark as well, the name that you've missed, or you I think you mentioned under Delhi, but
Yeah.
this is where experience counts, right? So you need that balance. You need the Hazelwood, Bhuvis, and Starks, and then you need the young guns also. It's yeah, it's just that combination. I'll tell you in RCB what my worry is. I think I saw a stat that said they win 50% of the games at home, right? And that's probably one
Hmm.
of the weakest. So the minute you start getting to a Bangalore or a Bombay, Wankhede, you are going to see that it becomes very even, right? And I think that is where they've historically lost out. So it's great that they've got these wins. They just need to find a way to win at home, and I see them going through.
Yeah, I remember they did win 6 of the 7, 6 out of 7 last year after being in a losing position. So it's very possible. Like they're a quality side and they've strengthened since the auction, arguably. Let's jump to the bottom really quick. I'm going to jump around a little, right?
Yeah,
Mumbai Indians so far, I think Rohit has scored. He scored a duck in the first game, and 8 in the second. Two pretty substantial losses. One against CSK, one against Gujarat. How are you starting to feel, or is this one where you're saying in the opposite to RCB, you're like, I'm not worried. They're so quality. Like I had them in my top four. You look at them on paper, and it's amazing, and it's just not clicking. Varun, how are you feeling about Mumbai 2 games
okay, so I'm not feeling that great, man, to be honest. Firstly, Bumrah is missing.
in? Hmm.
Secondly,
And do
Rohit
we have
is
an update, by the way? Do you know when he's back?
no, I don't, unfortunately.
Okay.
So Bumrah is missing. Rohit is in a terrible form. Like, yes, Rohit will hit that 160 sometime in the next 5 to 7 games, but around that, it's almost like a sitting wicket, right? So I think that's an issue. I also think their overseas batsmen are a big issue. Like they've got Will Jackson, I think Ryan Rickleton,
Rickleton both, yeah.
and both are raw, both are new. You don't have that, the cock type players of the past who have just stood up and been there. And so what this comes down to is the Sky and the Tilak Verma show, right? That's basically what Mumbai Indians is coming down to.
Yeah, because
Pandya,
three of your top six, as you said, are Rickleton, Jackson, and then Robin Mintz, who's again great on paper and but very raw, right? Like the
yeah,
young three of the top six of Mumbai used to basically be Team India.
yeah.
And now
And
you've
so
got three,
you've
yeah.
lost that Pollard David type character. You've lost the Quinton de Kock type character. So I feel there's just too many gaps in this team. Now, yes, they are strong, but I Cheher, Satyanarayan, Raju, Bolt, Santner is not a IPL winning bowling lineup. They're not bad. Namandhi, Robin Mins, as you call Will Jackson, Rickleton, and Rohit. So It's basically down to Sky and Tilak, in my opinion, and Pandya showing up. Like Pandya shows up, they win. Pandya doesn't show up, it's very hard.
Yeah, and Pandya picked up 2 wickets against Gujarat. Like he looked pretty good, so he can show up. I mean, listen, we could be sitting here. This is just the kind of team that we could be sitting here next week saying they had an unbelievable week. Sky, who by the way got hit pretty bad in the head. I don't know if you got to watch that. Got hit in the face. I think it was a Prasid bouncer, and this is the first time Sky went for the like true scoop, and I think the ball bounced more than he expected and hit him flush on the grill, and he fell flat to the floor and didn't move for a couple of
Oh
seconds.
wow,
I
I
was
missed that.
panicked. He's fine. He got up. He actually continued batting and all that. But man, uh, that tells you a little. Not to say he's not like he's a human, but it tells you a little about kind of the mindset and the state they're in. So Mumbai leaves a little bit to be desired. I will say Rohit's form continues to be a concern, but again, he's done this many times now. He kind of knows what he's doing, so I won't harp on them too much. Let's jump a little bit up because the first was it the second game of this season was Sunrisers Hyderabad versus Rajasthan Royals. Sunrisers are all the ones we said, oh, Travis Head, Abhishek, Kishan Reddy, etc. They're going to look good. I don't think I thought second highest score of all time good in the second game of the season, 286. And yes, it was a belter. Hyderabad is going to be an incredibly high scoring venue. It seems pretty clear. But man, 286. Ishan Kishan just seems freed of the burden of playing for Mumbai, of getting into a new franchise. I mean, his first time out with a new franchise, and he makes an effortless looking century. How incredible was that innings?
Yeah, I mean, so firstly, they started off as almost like there was no gap between last year and this year, right?
Yeah, they
When you
just
sat down to
ball
watch
one.
that game,
Yeah,
Travis Shake just took it apart. So it almost felt like you were just watching a continuation.
yeah.
But when Kishan came out, it was very, very refreshing because here you have a typical opener who's batting at three, coming in probably towards the tail end of the power play, and still able to find the gaps. Now, I think the problem with Kishan, though, if I'm not mistaken, is the next two games he's made ducks or close to ducks, right?
Let me try to find the scorecards really quick. But I
Yeah.
know he
So
hasn't been that good. Yeah.
yeah, he just hasn't. So I think to me that is a it speaks of a consistency issue that we've been used to. I think motivation level was very, very high playing for a new
First
franchise.
ball duck and then 2 of 5 against
Yeah.
Delhi. So yeah, but
So
basically not.
so basically he's hit like now 110 runs of three matches, or 108 runs of three matches, as opposed to 100 in the first. And so I'm not taking away anything from that. I feel the motivation level is very high. It's a new franchise. Reality is this guy was at a low, right? He didn't get picked by the Mumbai Indians, and he doesn't have a BCCI contract. And apparently, he spent a lot of time training, working on his mental strength. So I was happy for him the way he came out. But listen, he's got a unique opportunity in this power packed lineup. He gets to bat at number three, and if he doesn't take advantage of that, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah. I mean, well said. I think Hyderabad, you could sit here saying one win from their first 3 games, so 2 losses on the trot. A little bit to be concerned about. Pat Cummins sort of said in his post-match conference today, actually against Delhi, he was like, "Listen, both we dropped a couple of catches, a couple of things didn't go our way. I don't think he's concerned. I do still think this is an unbelievably explosive batting lineup, but I think if you have your day like they did against Delhi, which we'll come back to, you start to see the gaps because you're so over reliant on that top three.
But tell me something. If you think about it, right, is there a problem of going too hard? Is there something like going too hard at D20 cricket? Because if you think about their last 5 games, there were two playoff games and the first three. They have had success in one out of the five. Okay, with this
Hmm.
approach, and granted, a lot sits on Travis Shake's shoulders, but I just feel like there's something known as going too hard, and maybe you give your top two that freedom, but after that you got to play sensible cricket. And again, I'm saying that in with the best intentions. Like yesterday, they played against Delhi, and very honestly, like Aniket Verma and Klassen actually pulled things back. They pulled things back to the point that you and I got scared.
Dude, 37 for 4
Yeah,
within the power play.
yeah.
So, yeah, and then out, at number 5 at this point, Aniket Verma comes out. Now he's got a good reputation and stuff, but still, the IPL's a different ballgame. and
Yeah.
just goes nuts. But so fair, but you could argue Aniket was told do the same thing. He comes out after wickets have fallen and just goes berserk.
Yeah.
So if he had nudged and nurdled for a little bit, would that have been better? I don't know. I think
Yeah.
man, I think it's a hard one because we say the same with baseball. When it goes bad, it looks so stupid.
Yeah.
But when it's working, it's on. So it's high risk, high reward type cricket, and I don't see Sunrisers changing that anytime
Yeah.
soon.
The other thing, the other problem I feel is that their bowlers just don't seem to be in form, right?
Yeah,
Harshal Patel, Shami, Pat Cummins feels like a great, but they're just not in form. So
yeah,
just all I'm saying is you got to balance the two a little bit. You can hit 286, but even in that Rajasthan game, like I was like Rajasthan going to do about 150 runs and stuff. Rajasthan still got 242,
yeah. It was
which
good for
tells
the
you
net
that
run rate. Yeah,
both sides need to bet on the pitch before you can ever take a decision. So there's something not clicking. This is unfortunate because all of us put SRH as number one on the table, and that's the beauty of the IPL because RCB is number one on the table.
yeah. I mean, I'm still not writing them off, but I think to your point, high risk, high reward ish cricket. All right, Varun, let's take a very quick break. We're gonna come back and talk about some batting heroics because there's been quite a few in this IPL. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our IPL Week One review on the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. Welcome back to the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. Hey, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. Tell us how you felt about the first week of the IPL. Tell us we're wrong. All of our analysis is going to be wrong at some point. We love to talk about it. That's just how it goes. But Varun, let's talk about the Delhi Capitals. Okay, so we talked about the Hyderabad game, right? Good win today, or today for me, yesterday for you, whenever it was, but clinical and actually set up by the bowlers, right? Getting 37 for four. Stark got a five for Kuldeep got three. Excellent, excellent set up by the bowlers, and then good. Nice to see Faf show up. Faf just clinical as always. Awful fielding at times, but then Jake freaking jumps like what felt like 8 feet high in the air, plucks it out, and still falls forward magically. I mean, you had these great catches, but also um, Aniket made 74, I think, and was dropped on six of an absolute dolly by Porel. But let's talk about that first year, just very quickly for Delhi. So you specifically talked about Ashutosh Sharma and Shashank Singh last year and the role they played. I'm not going to go through the whole game, but Lucknow comes out, makes 209. Puran and Mitch Marsh look just deadly, just absolutely deadly. And Delhi goes 2 for 1 in the first over. Oh, wait, 2 for 2 in the first over to Shardul Thakur,
Shardul.
who, by the way, has had an excellent season. I never thought I'd be saying that. Rizvi walks in at four, gets out 7 for 3, 50 for four, 65 for five. And then 66 off of 31 with one wicket to spare on the other side. Ashutosh Sharma just batted. I mean, at the end, when he hit that winning run, I mean, he ended up winning with three balls to spare. It looked like it could go down to the last second, but he just spreads his arm out wide and just stands there. What is this guy made of? I mean, this match was. I don't know what the win was, but it was probably 99% luck now
I think I
at
think
one point in time.
I think it was 1.6% win probability for Delhi when
And
Ashutosh
I
Sharma
should
came in.
mention KL Rahul playing, not playing, but playing with, not playing in this 11, but in the Delhi side. Rishabh Pant captaining the Lucknow Super Giants. Okay,
Yeah.
your reaction to that game.
No, that game was done and dusted. I mean, I remember we were on the way from the airport back to the hotel. I opened it up and we had, lost this 4 wickets, as you said, and I closed it. I said, listen, the data isn't good. How am I going to watch this? Just forget it. Delhi started as Delhi. 1.6% probability. Reached the hotel and just put it on and saw Ashutosh Sharma 20 of 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true,
And I
actually.
was
Just
just
a,
like,
yeah.
all right, cool. I don't know why I'm watching this. Why am I doing this to myself? Getting messages from all over the world saying, oh, looks like nothing has changed, and this, and the taunts. And then you remember that this guy is a finisher, right? He and Shashank Singh for Punjab last year turned it around, and how? Like, I feel like Shashank Singh, I'm not saying this in a negative way, got a lot of the credit,
Yeah.
but I personally really liked watching this guy as well, right? So he then comes out and his next 46 runs comes in 11 deliveries. It's like he was possessed.
Yeah.
Every ball was going for a boundary. You could see Kevin Peterson in the stands, just kind of saying he will do it. Just trust me, he will. If he stays, he'll do it. But Delhi being Delhi, there's always drama. I mean, they got to the last wicket.
Yeah.
Mohit Sharma is the last batsman out there. They
And not
require a
somebody you want on the
and they require a
non-striker side.
single.
Yeah.
He misses the ball. Pant misses the keeping. Pant quickly takes a review to show that it was LB, not my stumping miss. It's saved, and then Mohit Sharma hits the most beautiful forward defense of his life, takes a single, and Ashutosh Sharma finishes it off in one ball. Not even I've got
Yeah.
four balls to spare. Let me see, one ball comes down the track, does a reverse sweep action, points to Kevin Peterson. The loop of the video plays that Kevin Peterson won a game like this with a straight six of two balls or something like 6 runs of the last over, and life really comes full circle, and everyone in Delhi is just like celebrating. Now, when I say everyone in Delhi, just recall, I mean, Hemang Badani, Venugopal Rao, Munaf Patel. Like, these guys are like, what happened?
Yeah.
What
How did
just
this
happened?
happen? Yeah.
It was crazy. But it was just crazy. I just don't know how to describe it.
That is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, spare a thought, by the way, I should say, for Vipraj Nigam, who made 39 or 15,
Who was a
because he
game
will be
changer?
forgotten in this. He
Yeah.
will be the Dravid to Ashutosh's Lakshman, right? Like, it will not be remembered in all the conversation about this game, but it was critical. I mean, he batted at 260, right? While Ashutosh was
Actually,
going at 20 of 20. Like,
he changed it. This Sonu Nigam's brother, he really changed the trajectory of this
every
game.
time I start telling you that, my phone capitalizes the VIP, so I have to stop calling him VIP Raj. But he was a VIP in that game. He played like a VIP. I mean, just tremendous. I mean, this is the stuff. This was actually probably, I'm probably speaking a little at term, probably the first really good game of the IPL in terms of closeness, and it set it up because we've since then had a few last over finishes. So let's talk about it. You brought him up after 65 seconds. But I have to talk about the CSK team who won their first game against Mumbai, but are now two losses in the next two. Let's start with this game against RCB, right? Like all the hype, Virat versus MS, this, that. Fine, Rapa makes a great half century, RCB makes 196. But CSK, 26 for 3, and Sam Curran walks out. Okay. 52 for 4, Shivam Dubey, that's his position. He's a finisher, he plays his impact player, great. Rachin gets out 75 for 5. Jadeja walks in. Okay, yeah, fair. That's his position. Dubey gets out next. So it's 12.5 overs. So it's early still, arguably, but 80 for 6. And Ash walks out. And then at 99 for 7, 15.2 at number 9, only for the second time in his career, walks out MS Dhoni. First off, crowd is going ballistic still. But you and I have exchanged a lot of this because I know your point of view largely is like it's fine. He doesn't have the knees to run anymore. This is the role he plays. I have not stopped and will come back to the unbelievable dismissals he has created out of nothing from behind the stumps. Just tremendous. But let's start quickly with the batting. This is now this, and then the same thing happened in the next game. He came out, it was too late. He ended up getting caught on a boundary. So it's now two chases that Dhoni's walked in late and CSK fallen short. Thoughts?
Man, okay, so I have a huge challenge right with this because, and I know we're probably going to have a fighting on the podcast, but my point here is that, like, this is a Dhoni you remember, right? And a lot of us are trying to kind of put him in that old bucket, right? And I can see you're ready to pounce on me already. So just hear me out. The point is, he is the best wicketkeeper in the game today. Okay,
Maybe in the
those two
history of to have
I
ever
mean,
played.
those
Like,
two dismissals, like he doesn't even wait for the ball to come back. He just collects it and takes the sums off.
I
Like
mean,
Sky
one of
was
them
in
was like
shock.
0.16
Yeah,
or something
I mean, like
seconds. It's
Sky. I
just,
think Sky was in shock. Like
yeah,
he didn't even chew his gum for a second there because
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so 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 that's where it's it. Now the second thing, he
And
can
a third,
hit,
by the way, today where Nitish Rana was smashing
yeah, on the
gangbusters and
wide
Ash
ball,
and
yeah,
him, like just seeing him and Ash do the wide and stuff. Anyway, keep
yeah,
going.
yeah. So the point here is that, like, apart from the fact that I think it's a privilege to watch him still. Okay, let's keep that aside. I've been trying very hard to keep that aside. It's hard, but let's keep that aside. He can smoke the ball. Okay, But the argument here is that is there a better batter? Very better batter.
Like
Is
what
there,
are you saying?
I've lost my complete train of thought.
Yeah,
Is there a better batter? Because your argument is that he should be the impact sub and be taken off.
yeah. I think
My
he should
view
play as a
is,
specialist keeper.
yeah, my view is, even if he bats at 11, what's the problem? Like, are we not? Are we stopping a better batsman from getting into the 11 and playing, or are we just like, you coward, you think you can do it but you won't even try? Like, it's just funny. Like, you get what I'm trying to say?
I
Like,
do. Yeah,
he could bat at 11 and still have an impact in some form. But I also hear the flip side. You got to go for the win, and so he did come out at 5 down
yeah,
in the latest game and tried. But man, like, when he was running with Jaddu, like, you could tell
yeah,
that he was breathless. You could tell that in between balls he was creating a reason to say Jads and then go over and talk to him, and you could
yeah,
see him just getting his breath back. So
yeah.
should he have retired? Probably. Okay, but I come from a different. I just find it a privilege. I think that's what
No,
I'm talking about,
I think
which
it's
is not the
it's a
right argument.
it's a fair point and a good discussion, and yours and my tone will be different than it is over WhatsApp, right? But on this podcast, but I think it's probably just something we've never seen before, where somebody is still at the apex of their game in one form, which is wicket keeping, and just doesn't have the fitness to bat 8-10 overs. It's just not something we're used to. Like you don't have the legendary all rounders still be amazing batters. Like it, your body starts to go away from you as it starts to go away from you. Period. So it's just unusual. I think it's just made worse by the fact that he did come out against RCB and make 30 of 16. He hit two sixes and three fours, which is more equal sixes and equal number of fours than all three guys who came before him. Dubey, Jadeja, and Ash collectively hit two sixes and five fours, right? So, I mean, that's the part that makes it worse. Is just figuring out the role. What are you doing? Like, why not come out at 7 and get out like he did today against uh,
Yeah,
who did they play today? Yeah, why not come out at 7 and just hit a shot to the boundary and get out caught and say, "Cool, I
yeah,
tried."
and for the record, I actually agree with you here.
Yeah,
I actually agree that he should come out earlier.
and
It's
by
just
by
the
the way,
hate.
yeah, no, I agree. The hate is unjustified, right? I think the numbers are the part that's also frustrating, which is the last thing I'll say. Since 2023, I found this stat on Cricinfo that he has hit now 13 fours and 13 sixes in chases in a losing cause, and has hit zero fours and zero sixes in chases in a winning cause in the last 2.5 years. Like that is really saying something. So it feels like he ends up coming in too late. Anyway, this is not a discussion we'll win. We might hear the worst of it in the comments, but I think it's an interesting challenge for CSK. To your point, maybe they don't have anybody better. So what are they going to do with that impact sub? Who are they going to bring in instead?
Yeah,
Right, Varun. A couple other things to talk. We sort of ignored Punjab only because they've only played the one game. So you're sitting here saying, okay, but they've played one and they've won one against a Gujarat side that looked in good touch. Shreyas Iyer, new new skipper of Punjab, often felt like didn't get his due at KKR for lifting the freaking IPL trophy as the skipper and then got let go. You talked about this. You almost never have a IPL trophy winning team or franchise trophy winning team and then coach and captain are both gone. Shreyas comes in, like you said about Travis Shea, picks up where he left off, 97 of 42. By the way, batting at the end with Shashank Singh, who was also going gangbusters again. Same. We've talked about him already. But hitting 44 of 16, and very clearly, there's a moment which you can see, and Shashank has said it in the media. My century, don't worry about my century, etc. All that matters is the team and the runs. So Shreyas ends the match 97 not out, and Shashank gets 44 not out. I mean, thoughts on that overall innings and the leadership and the presence to not to tell the guy, don't worry about taking a single. All I want is boundaries for the team.
yeah. I first give credit to Shreyas, man. Again, he came out and just smoked it like clean. I love these
Yeah,
guys who just hit a six as they would play a shot in a test match. Like,
just
it's just
classy. Yeah,
it's just great. And yeah, dude, you gotta do what is right by the team because Punjab has a history of losing. You have to get over that. Even though you were not part of that history, you have to break some of these shackles. So when you've kept a Shashank Singh, you've actually prioritized him over Shreyas Iyer in retaining somebody like him, right? You have to give him the freedom. Like we talked about Ashutosh Sharma and Shashank Singh. You have to say go for it. And ultimately that decision actually I think won them the match, right? Because Shreyas inevitably would have had something else on his mind and how do I get my century and things like that. So it's I just think it was great, right? Like Shreyas has taken a team to the IPL final, won an IPL final, and has won 5 trophies in the last year, as we spoke about. So there is something about this guy. I mean, it's more than that Sehri Babu dance that just can't get off my Instagram reels. Right? It just can't. But uh, there's something about this guy, and I think we should watch him. Having said that, I think this whole like Maxwell and Stoinis is just it's too old, man. It's too old. Like they're Maxwell out for zero on the
Yeah.
first ball, and
Yeah.
Stoinis will hit 3 out of the 14 games. They better get their act together quickly because they've got the makings to do something big. But like I would almost say be bold and like open with Stoinis. Give Prabhsimran and Stoinis
Yeah.
do something different because your opening is not looking threatening. I'm not saying they're not good. It doesn't look threatening enough to an opposition. And then you've got Maxi and Stoinis together. So my view is Punjab needs to sort out these couple of things, and we spoke about it there. They feel like players coming together rather than a team.
Which is what they have Shreyas for. And off of one example, looks like he's doing his job. I mean, I'm with you. I don't think that Maxi's Stoinis show last. I remember they have Lockie Ferguson in the squad who may take an overseas slot. They have Josh Inglis who's been playing unbelievable in multiple formats. So I'm with you. I don't think the Maxi Stoinis show lasts forever. Um, but yeah, Varun, I think we talked about a lot of things. We're running out of time. Shardul picked up a four for in addition to his two, so that's been exciting. Quinton de Kock started a little bit slow, and then comes out and hits an unbelievable. Also, by the way, same score, 97, not out, just unbelievable. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff. As we go kind of next week, where do you expect we'll be sitting here a week from now? Do you think the points table is going to move a lot? Do you think Mumbai is going to start surging? Who has kind of looked good to you, but just gotten unlucky? Versus, I don't know. Would you say Delhi and RCB have not looked that good and gotten lucky? What do you see happening the next week as we wrap up?
I think Delhi got very lucky. So I think somebody like Delhi needs to shape up and strengthen this kind of batting order. Like Akshar hasn't come to the table,
Yeah,
right? Jake Fraser McGurk hasn't come to the table. So
Jake
there are
has looked
people.
awful, by the way. So
Yeah, he's
hopefully
losing
KP
shape.
is doing. Yeah, but without Harry Brook, like you said, there's no other option. So hopefully Peterson is doing what he was doing with Ashutosh and just working. Tristan
Yeah,
Stubbs has said KP's been important. So anyway, yeah,
yeah. So anyway, without getting into too many of the teams, I want to see KKR because I think they've got a good lineup, but I don't think they're great. So I want to see them and their batting prowess a little bit. I actually think Lucknow has a very very solid team. So I think you're going to see a little bit of those tables turning there. Like when you think about it, you think about Mitch Marsh, Puran, Pant, David Miller, and Abdul Samad. Right, that is your batting lineup. Followed by Ayush Badoni, who is solid. So we can't run through all the teams, but I'm just saying I'm interested to see DC shape up. I want to see how KKR comes into the park with their batting, and I also want to see how LSG does because I think they've got a very very strong batting lineup.
yeah. Just as we wrap, the thing that hurts a little as a fan is that LSG didn't lose to Delhi because of Ashutosh's unbelievable heroics. Yes, that mattered. Vipraj, yes, that mattered. All of it. LSG lost because of Rishabh Pant's captaincy. And that hurts as a fan of the guy, but you cannot have Shardul bowl 2 overs, 2 for 19 in a match where both teams scored over 200, right? 2 overs, 2 wickets for 19 and leave. That's it. That's all he bowled, by the way, against Delhi.
Yeah,
Rishabh left 2 overs of Shardul Thakur unused. By the way, Shardul has since picked up four. I mean, there were just moments in that game, multiple moments with bowling changes, field positions where I felt like Rishabh is showing some weakness. So while I disagreed with the decision to let him go, it started to once you take the blinders of the fandom off, it started to show me why Delhi let him go a little bit, and just captaincy leaves a little to be desired.
Yeah, it's listen. He's not the white ball player we thought he was,
Yeah.
and
You've
his
said this for
captaincy.
5 years, man.
I've been saying this for a long time. In fact, I'm
Yeah.
starting to think this about Jaiswal as well. Is he like? Is he
Mm.
truly that all format player we're talking about? Because it's been two IPLs in a row where he's just not done anything. So
Yeah.
let's add Jaiswal to that by list of. So that's the fourth thing I would look forward to is Jaiswal, LSG, Delhi, and KKR. Those
You
are the
think
four
Jaiswal
teams.
comes good, or you want to see how
He has to come
what he
good.
shows?
He
Yeah.
has to come good. He
Yeah.
has the qualities. It's just I don't know. I think when you go out to chase 200 plus, he's just not mature enough to understand how to go about it. But
Yeah.
Jaiswal has to come good.
He does. Varun, thank you for joining me. I know it's a day off on a long weekend. It is the best time of the year. Cricket every night. Join us, play fantasy cricket. I'm not doing an update yet because it's so early in the season, but our in the YouTube comments and the show notes, you'll find the link to join us and play against us. I have not started well, but I never do. So now I'm starting to make some wild picks, and it's probably hurting me even more. But that's how the season goes. Varun, thanks for joining. We'll be back next week to see where the points table is, and we'll be back doing this. We get to do this for each one of the next 7 or 8 weeks. It's going to be a great time. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, signing off. Okay.
So no, good. That was good.